When you believe this is the reality, and therefore you believe in birth, you believe in death, you believe in pain and suffering, you believe in heaven, you believe in hell, because that's all part of the belief package. Because you have an I-ness, you identify with your personal history, you're separate from the source. The definition of peace, the lack of a war, it's peace. No, lack of a war or violence is not peace. Right now, the war is up for the heart and the soul and the spirit of mankind. And it starts with each of us.
The episode you're about to watch has been republished. My podcast channel reaches a lot more people now, and there's certain episodes that have slipped under the radar, and I wanted to bring them up for your attention because I truly feel they are worth listening to. So please be sure to let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. And of course, let's continue to connect. Let me know where you are in the world and where you're listening and tuning in from. I love reading it. It's amazing, isn't it, that we can do this? And the other thing I want to say as well is find out where we are if you want to put your spiritual boots on and come and join us at one of our 5-day retreats or one-day events around the world. Links are below as well if you want to find out more what we're up to. Much love from me. Enjoy. Reverend Bill McDonald, welcome back to the podcast. We're an honor to have you back on the show, sir.
Well, I'm amazed that, number one, you remembered me. Number two, finding out that I'm this talkative Irish guy that, maybe you didn't want to invite back because you don't have enough hours of the day. But it's my pleasure to be here. And I, by the way, I've been checking out some of your other interviews, and actually I'm watching what you're doing with your own events, your tours and stuff. I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're being followed by Americans. We're watching you. We're watching you.
It's good to know. You never know who's on the other end half the time, and I just listen to my calling, follow my heart, and see where it leads me, really, and go with it. And it's been a pure joy, to be honest with you. And I have to say as well, when you spoke about, the last podcast, it got a really beautiful response. People messaged me, lent in, and I haven't listened to it back recently, so I can't remember the crux of it, but I always remember it felt like really got to the heart of what matters, and it's beautiful. And for me, that's a big part of everything, because we can get so caught up in the small stuff in life and forget what actually matters, right?
And especially now, I mean, I don't know about in Australia, but Americans are so jittery right now about 2024. We got a nasty political stuff going on with the election. I mean, it's almost like a revolution. I mean, philosophically, they're poles apart. We're watching Israel and Gaza, and now and Ukraine and Russia, but now we're looking at today. The war's expanded a little bit because Americans and the British were bombing Yemen, I think, and Syria or something. So this thing's getting very shaky worldwide. And so what I'm trying to get people is to focus on the light, on the love, because it really doesn't matter what the news shows say. It doesn't matter what it apparently appears to be going on out there. If you're attuned to love, starting with yourself, loving yourself and knowing yourself, that God resides within you and your enemy and your neighbor and your friends, and we're all one. And if you raise your own physical, spiritual, emotional vibration and frequency, believe it or not, that will help change the world. It doesn't take a lot of people, but it takes people with powerful energy. The lower energies, millions of people, billions of people. But if you have thousands of people with high frequency energy, you're going to change things. So that's what, if nothing else, people will keep their sanity because they're not going to focus. Don't watch the news. 2024 or any year you can fill in after this, but don't watch the news. If you can't control it, you can't do anything about it, then just focus on what you can, which is your own feelings, your own heart, helping your neighbors, helping your friends, helping strangers. Because in my world, I walk around the neighborhood. There's no terrorists. Nobody's bombing me. Nobody's fighting. Uh, so in my world that I see right directly around me, I'm happy. It's only when I turn on mass media, television, internet, etc. So I'm telling people, you go on the internet, there's beautiful things on there, like your broadcast, and like some really beautiful documentaries, and there's beautiful music, and there's nice lectures. So it's not the internet is good or bad. It's what you choose
Mm.
to watch. So that's kind of like with all of life.
Yeah, no, beautiful. And on that topic, then, what do you feel is happening with humanity right now? Do you feel that there is a raising consciousness vibration? There seems to be a lot of talk around that. And do you feel that by us recognizing the divinity within us and every other human and raising our own vibration, we are collectively moving that vibration quicker? And is there a tipping point?
Yeah, the tipping point and the prime movement. Uh, we're not talking large numbers. For the average person, they're looking, hey, Bill, Reverend Bill, what are you talking about? There's good stuff. I had a guy sent me a message the other day. You're preaching love. Don't you know it's the end of the world coming, World War III, apocalypse, that, I'm going, not in my world. No, I really do believe in the power of love. And if you want to focus on the negative, you'll have all the evidence in the world to support.
Mm.
It'll support your opinion. If you think there's ugliness, you will find ugliness everywhere. If it's hate out there, there's anger, you'll find it. And it starts right here. People got wars and battles going on right here. They're angry at the other religion, at the other country, at the enemy, at the other political party, or the guy offended them in some way. Everybody's offended in America. Everybody gets offended. I don't know about Australia, but you say, "Oh my God," Anyway, so I I try to avoid arguments by not engaging. If somebody wants to lie and go on, and I silently listen, doesn't mean I'm approving. Also means I don't care to engage with a fool. And if I was engaging, I'd be another fool engaging. Don't want to convert anybody. Whatever you believe, if you're happy, great. So it's an odd philosophy, but one that I'm at peace with. And I found that when I'm out looking well, I tell you what, here's what started that. I was in Calcutta, one of my trips to India. I think it was like 2004. I'm in Calcutta now, and I was expecting this big, beautiful city because I heard about all these old. I get there. I don't know if you've ever been to Calcutta, but it is slums. I mean, there's people, homeless people. There's garbage everywhere. There's pollution in the air. The Ganges rivers comes through there, and it's just so thick with stuff in it, real stuff, sewage, wood, flowers, you name it. And people are defecating on the streets, and there's a smell. And I'm kind of walking around, and I'm seeing all this, and then I see this holy man. I only say that now after the fact. At the time, I just thought he was a man, but his answer was like, no, this guy was into something. Because he's standing there in a corner and he's smiling and he's watching me kind of going, watching me complain to my friend. And he goes, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I go, well, the smell, the rot, the poverty. And I go down the list of all the stuff. And he goes, look down that street. You see that pile of garbage over there? There's a jasmine bush growing right next to it. He says, I focus on that and I feel the jasmine. I smell the flower. I don't see anything else. I choose to see the jasmine. And then I was speechless. I thought, hell, that's my philosophy. Normally it's like, no, it's kick and start me back on the right track. But that's really true. Whatever you see, you'll see more of. You go anywhere. If your belief when you show up, oh, the people in America, they're violent, they're mean, that's what you'll see.
Mm.
People are friendly in Chicago. That's what you'll find. They'll be friendly. Go to Australia. People will love you American. If that's what you'll find. If you think they'll hate you, whatever you think is your reality. You will create that. You will manifest all that's in your life and it'll surround you. So if you're all into the negative, meaning complaining, finding fault, looking for fault, hating, anger, you're only going to get more of it. And then that just reinforces people's belief. Like, I was right. Look at all this garbage. I had a guy today. Oh, you got all this stuff going on. The Israelis, they have to wipe out these guys. They got to smash all these guys. I'm going, you can't kill terrorists and get rid of them. You kill them, their brothers and their families, everybody else, they line up to replace them. You can't do that. You have to find another way to change. So you change you change your own behavior, you fill your own cup with love, you let it spill over. It does two things. One, when you're filled with love, then you see the humanity and the love. Even if it's only a speck of somebody, you will see it out there. Not, oh, these guys are animals, they're terrorists, they're animals, look at all this. And if you think of them as animals, then there's no compassion for them at all, and there's no dialogue, right? And sometimes you can't engage that kind of thinking, either side, into a conversation, because it's not a debate. It's a belief against a belief. So you approach it with, I give you love. Become that jasmine flower. When everybody else sees garbage, be that jasmine growing by the garbage. Let the enlightened ones will see you. The others will sense you and figure it out eventually. But it also just changes how you see these things and how they affect you. Because when you're filled with love, even though all this stuff's going on, it doesn't have that negative impact on you. It's different. Now, nobody likes to see people getting, like in the news, you watch Gaza, it's people getting blown up, and there's crazy, crazy stuff going on. And people, oh, look how terrible it is now. And I'm thinking, no, we had the last century, we had World War I. Ugly. Man, there was people killed all over Europe and around the world. It was ugly. Millions and millions and millions. And then we had World War II, where we dropped 2 atomic bombs on a city and killed everybody, just massive amount. We firebombed Tokyo, killed over 100,000 people. We burned them alive, men, women, and children. And then I'm looking, we killed, 6 million Jews, and the Russians killed a bunch of Ukrainians of their own people. And I mean, millions and millions. There wasn't a day, not one day from 1939 to the end of World War II in 1945, not one day that less than 100,000 people got killed. Not one day less than 100,000. And now we get upset because, 10,000 here got killed, 100 here got killed. It's news. That is progression. That's progress. That's beautiful. Not that people are getting killed, but take a look at the numbers. Now, if there's a shootout someplace, and somebody shoots people up at a school and a bunch of people, it's terrible. But it's in the news for a week, and we talk about those 4 or 5 people that got shot. We couldn't talk about the 100,000 plus a day or 1 million in some cases for a week. So progress, evolution, spiritual growth on a world universal capacity. Yes, it's changed. It's been altered. And we are evolving at a higher rate, even though we got terrible wars, lots of hate, lots of anger. There's no time in our history where we haven't had that, ever. I mean, it's always been. But actually, right now, I think it's a miracle that I'm going to be 78 years old here in a few weeks. 78. My entire lifetime, I've never seen an atomic bomb dropped on a city. When I was in the womb, a few months in the womb, we were blowing up cities in Japan with atomic bombs. So we've had the atomic bomb all my life. And yet, with all the craziness out there, dictators, North Korea, you name it, right? All these countries that got them, nobody's dropped one. I mean, in over 78, 79 years, no one's dropped them. And everybody's had the capacity and the ability to do it. I mean, Israel's got them, Iraq's got it, India, Pakistan, China, Russia, England, France. The list goes on. That's a miracle. So instead of me moaning and groaning about all what's going on, I look at that. I pick things. I go, wow, that's a miracle. We're not dropping atomic bombs at anybody. There is no world war, but there's no peace. Peace is the definition of peace, the lack of a war, it's peace. No, lack of a war or violence is not peace. Right now, the war is up for the heart and the soul and the spirit of mankind. And it starts with each of us. Change us will change others. Why? Because you and I, when I look at you, Guy, I look at you, I see me. If you look at me, you should see me. You should see yourself. I look at others, they're just a reflection of me. It's all me. So if I see everybody, friends, foes, whatever they declare themselves to be, I see everybody as myself. And since I see myself and God as one, well, then how can I get angry at anybody? I don't have to like what people are doing. I don't have to approve of people misusing their free will. But you're not going to drive me to be angry with anybody or hate anybody.
Yeah.
Defend, if somebody slaps me around, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not crazy. But when we focus on ourselves and we fill our own cup with love, only then can we help fill someone else's. So you got a lot of people out there right now that are trying to do good things. You know that. There's people out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? And like, I look, like you mentioned, you're 78 years old. You've had a vast experience of life. You're a Reverend. I think, is it 3 near-death experiences you've had? Yeah. The 3? Dozens of mystical experiences, if I'm not mistaken. I've had the, I guess, good fortune of actually experiencing an awakening about 9 years ago, which really changed the trajectory, which led into having experiences beyond physical form. And it really changed my perception. It allowed me to open my heart and to start to really lean into the power of love. And I guess I do what I do because I want to be a messenger of what's possible within the human being and spirit. And I know that's you. God, you've been living and breathing it for so long. But then I see my old self of the younger man that was struggling, stuck, frustrated, focusing on the pains, the things that are coming through the news, and get caught up in that soup of sadness, loneliness, depression, which bubbles away as well. So there is a question in you somewhere, because when I look upon the world now and see the amount of people that are there, that where I was, and it's like, how do we just nudge them across? Because humanity can be so beautiful, so blissful, so supportive and caring, and love thy neighbor to a much greater depth than what we are doing, even though we've progressed, like you say, such a long way.
Well, here's the thing. There is evil being done worldwide. There's anger and fear. Fear, that's the big thing. Fear. You fear the other guys. You fear poverty. You fear somebody's getting something you're not getting, whatever. And it is actually not being balanced out by a billion here and a billion people here. But this lower level of fear and anger and hate doesn't carry the same frequency and energy that love does. So love and light, one and the same. It's God's love, whatever you want. It's a more powerful frequency. I'm talking about actual frequency vibrating higher. One great soul, somebody like Jesus or Krishna or Buddha or something like that, billion or 2 billion people, the planet could be changed with one or two of those guys in the world. Now, I'm thinking actually that around the world, Australia, America, South America, Europe, India, wherever, there are individuals out there. They could be householders. They could be married with children. They work in a job. We don't know the depths of all these people, but there are people out there that I really feel that have evolved. They don't have a million or subscribers on their channel, and they don't have millions of followers. They may not have billions of dollars coming into them. Maybe nobody knows them but a handful of people. But when they meditate and when they pray and when they love, they're coming from such a vast reservoir of love and power that the very foundations of this earth shake. So there are great saints and sages amongst us. There goes an angel, unknown to us kind of thing. So I think there are groups of people, below that Buddha level. I mean, there's groups that are, they've had awakening moments. And I think there's a lot of people that have had awakening moments. They've had a taste, which is like priming a water pump. You put a little water in there, and you can pump more, right? And it spurs those people on to meditate more, to do more. And I found that anybody's had a taste, what do they always try to do? Serve. It's like I was a lifeguard once upon a time. I was a professional lifeguard. It's like I can't walk by a beach or a swimming pool, whether it's in a hotel or wherever it's at, and I'm watching the water. I'm always watching people. It's ingrained in you once you get the training. If I see something, I'm going to respond. And I have saved people actually, off duty, not 30 years after being a lifeguard. So, and I think it's that way spiritually for us. We've gotten a taste, and you feel that love, and you go, my God, my brothers, my sisters, they're suffering. They're in pain because they believe in pain, and they've invited this suffering because they believe it. And any kind of lecture to them is not it's going to fall flat. It's like, well, I lost my child, and the Israelis blew me. And I lost my family. You're never going to convince these people that, hey, it's all delusion. No, it's real to them, and they're suffering their pain. So, but love is much greater, and not knock lectures and talks like this because they're nice. They motivate people, but it's your silent actions. It's that bubbling of love within that will change them. Not a lecture. In America, we call it, I don't know if they use this expression down there, down under, but we say walking the talk. In other words, are you doing what you're saying? Are you living the life that you're preaching? And from the churches, I live the life that you're preaching, right? Well, you know what? There's that inner life. And when that inner life is nurtured and fed and developed, and how's it fed? Meditation, prayer, service, helping, providing, having empathy, all these things feed that energy, changes the frequency. So I'm going out because you say, what can you do? I'm right with you on this because we're not blind to what's happening to others, but you have to reach a point and say, how can I really help them? How can I really help them? And I tell people, you help them by helping you. And this is right. Some people don't get it. When you perfect you, when you fill your tanks up with love, so they're overabundant, they're overflowing, you've changed others just by changing you. It's all frequency in a math game. You bring your frequency rates up, you're vibrating at a higher level. It affects others, depending on how you're vibrating. Some people, with your broadcast, your podcast, there's people that watch that. Your broadcast has a certain frequency and vibration, right? So you attract those kind of people that need to hear that. That's one level, right? You take people on trips and retreats, and now you got hands on close. It's you create even a stronger vibration because they're closer to the
Mm.
source. And then eventually you realize, because people, they want my hands on stuff I do, hands on healing. And I keep telling people, I said, because they go, last week, I got a message, can you do remote healing? And I'm going, there ain't nothing remote. It's all here. Don't have to. There's only one place, one moment, one time, one space. There's nothing separate. Just by the fact that you think it's remote, it's like I'm praying to God, like God is someplace else, right? It's all here. So I'm going out there like I did this last week. I drove from Northern California, where I live, up by top, Sacramento area. If you look on a map, they go all the way down to Southern California. It was about 400 or 500. I went to actually 600 miles, and then I
Oh
did two
wow.
of it. I came back. I drove 15, let's say 12, 13, 1,300 miles I drove. Left on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. I got 1 o'clock in the morning, started driving, and I got back the next day at 8 o'clock, and not tired, not drained, and I was doing hands-on healing and teaching and talking and lecturing. And I reached a point where 5 years ago, if I'd done that, I'd been tired. I would have been drained, because these people, I'm giving, and I get drained. You know the feeling I'm talking about. It's
Mm.
you're a giver. It drains you, and people will. I've been graced by now. When I give, it's like I'm being recharged at a greater rate. I give away, but I get more back. So I'm actually more energy powerful. I don't know if a better term to use. More energy.
Efficient.
Yeah, efficient in the tank, whatever. It's greater than when I start. So if I do hands on with somebody, it's actually greater. That wasn't always the case. This is something that's kind of going to a new area.
Is this something conscious that you welcomed in and been thinking about? Or is this something that's just unconsciously been happening as you serve?
You couldn't plan this. you can't plan this. In fact, just me going out and talking and doing workshops. I don't know, since we've talked, here's what's happened since our last interview. COVID, my God, I couldn't
Mm.
do nothing. I was just doing Zooms and recordings and videos and stuff. And then in 2020, what's 2023? 2022, September, I go, this is enough of this COVID. I got to get back out in the world again, right? And I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw myself giving workshops, classes, and doing, what's the word? Doing healing. That's the wrong thing, because that would imply that I'm healing. I'm teaching self healing. So correct me when I don't want to label myself as a healer. Because people, oh, you healed me. I go, no, I didn't. Your belief in my words healed you. Your belief in me healed you. But it's God. It's the Creator that healed you. So, so I went out, and after having this dream, I knew I had to go out and do this stuff. I had no clue. Book all these things, and I had no clue. So there was a town, Santa Cruz, which is about 3 hour drive from here. Beautiful beach town. Bunch of hippies there, older hippies live in there. It's like my kind of people. I go there. So I rented I guess it was a Buddhist temple, or it was some kind of Oriental Eastern religion building. And so I paid for that, and then I had to pay for uh, insurance. I couldn't believe I had to pay for insurance for what. Anyway, I ended up with gas and everything. I was up about $1,200 in debt. My wife's going. She goes, "You're driving 3 hours, right? Staying overnight hotel, driving 3 hours back, paying for rental, paying for insurance, paying for gas, spending $1,500 so you can give a free, quote unquote, free workshop on how to self-heal. Good luck on that." Well, as it turns out, I go and I do exactly that. And I get there to Santa Cruz. I went to pay for the church. Somebody anonymously paid for it. Somebody anonymously paid for the insurance. Somebody took care of my room. Somebody gave me gas money. Somebody else gave me some extra. End up, I had extra money left. So I was able to go to this town I live in, Elk Grove, and I knew the people here weren't going to be donating money or anything because there was a bunch of old people were going to come. And I gave a free workshop here. I rented a Methodist church, and they brought all these busloads of people from they got these um, rest homes where they got old people in there, they're recovering, they're living there, senior citizens, and they said they found out there was a free event. All these homes around here. Hey, Reverend Bill's giving a free event, and it was Christmas week, right? And they sent these little buses over with people getting out in wheelchairs and walkers, and I go, not one of them brought their purse. Nobody's going to donate. I'm on my own on this, right? But I had money left over from the other one, and so this is how this thing's progressed from one event to another. Some events people show up, I pay for the event, I get a little extra, it pays for the next event. I've been doing about 30 or 40 events, and now I'm going around the world. I was in India this last January. I was in India doing this. And I've managed to not lose a penny.
Wow.
And I got a little extra money right now to pay for my journey to Europe so I can do that. And I got to feel when I finish there, I'll have enough to fly back home. I'm hoping I got enough to fly back home without having to go into debt. So, but it doesn't matter. I totally trust that what I'm doing, I'm supposed to do, even if I go in a hole. And I'm not a rich man. I'm living on a pension. I was a military veteran. I got wounded. I got a pension. I worked for the post office. So I got a couple small pensions coming in, but I've learned something. And I think I told you the story about that when I had these guys come over to my house right before COVID. I had all these guys coming from Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area, Google, Facebook, Cisco, Microsoft. There was a couple of them that came, which is another whole story. I asked them how they found me, found my address, and they all go, "We're controlling the internet." I mean, these guys went online. They had their staff look up my utilities, garbage bill. They got my address, and I'm going, nothing. By the way, nothing sacred, nothing secret in the world. They can find you wherever you're at. Anyway, so this guy, I don't stop me if I told you the story about.
No, I don't think so.
This guy comes in there and he said, I got all these guys sitting in my front room on a Saturday. It's like, I didn't advertise for these guys. They just show up on Saturday and I got all these people here, right? They all want to copy my book. They want to hear me talk. They got questions. So this guy goes, Rev Bill, he says, I've seen your videos. I really like it. Even saw yours, by the way. So, so it was like, I saw these things. And he says, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make you a success. I'm going to help you do this. And I go, nah, it's okay. I'm doing all right. He says, no, you don't understand. I got $980 million. And he says, I'll be worth over $1 billion this summer. But in 10 years, I should be 28 to $50 billion with all the stuff that went up. And
Jesus.
And I said, no, you don't have what I have. And then he just kept talking. And he goes, what do you mean? He says, I got 9 sports cars. I got a Maserati. And he goes through a list of all these cars he's got. I got houses on 3 continents. I go to, I have one here in San Francisco, and he says, and I got one in India, and I got one in New York, and I got one in Paris, and I got one in India. And he just kept going on. And I kept saying, yeah, but you don't have what I have. I keep waiting for this guy to stop and ask what I have, right? And I've always had this. I wanted to say this to somebody, but never had the opportunity. It was like I couldn't have wrote it any better. If it was fiction, it couldn't have been any better. So finally, he stops and says, "What do you got that I don't have?" And I just paused for a little drama, right? And I look him in the eye and I said, "Enough." And he goes, I said, "You'll never have enough." And then I just ignored him. Right? It was like he was going to give me all the money I wanted, and I go, "No, I just need enough to do what I'm doing. It's just I got enough." Even though, I mean, he spends more in pocket money. I mean, insurance for his car, my old amount of yearly income. So this thing has evolved and is an evolving thing. So when I had that dream to go out and do this, I just started making it up. I didn't have a program. I did the first one.
I love it. Yeah.
I don't know where it's going, but I'll just open my mouth and boom. And it's changed. Every one I've done has been different. The energy's been greater. The healing's been greater. Because I don't know if we talked about it too well. I don't, yeah, when I was talking to you, I hadn't gone through all I've gone through. I mean, the nose has been cut off 3 times. I've had 300 some stitches in the face in the last 2-3 years. I mean, I've had cancers taken out of the right below my eyeballs. I've had them top of my head cut off, and taking cancer out of there. I mean, you name it. I've been through all kinds of stuff. And yet 2 or 3 weeks later, I look just like this, healed. And in fact, as I'm talking to you, I'd maybe look up here for a second. I show you some pictures here. Hang on a second here. Let's go to, because
I remember when you came on the last show, I think you had something just cut out. That's right. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like Frankenstein.
Wow.
So anyway,
you can't even see what happened was,
so all this stuff was destroyed. And if you look pictures of me 20, 25 years ago, I'm older looking than I am now than I was in my 50s. And I've attributed it to what I'm doing now with these self-healing workshops. Let me explain those. Self-healing workshops, I'm actually bringing people in. And my first thing is, I'm not a guru. I don't want to even be a teacher. I'm sharing. I'm just sharing, right? But I'm not looking for a following. I'm not looking for an organization. I'm not looking for devotees, members, people to worship me. None of the above. I come in. If they don't remember who I was, that's okay. But if they remember what all I spoke about the power of love, and they apply it to self-healing, my job is done. And what I learned when I was a teenager in Hawaii, I had this kahuna priest. I mean, the real deal, big kahuna, the Hawaiian religion. And he taught this. I was like his apprentice. I was 18. He was in his 60s. And he goes, Bill, do you want to learn how to heal? I go, yeah, sure. I'm not surfing right now. Why not? Right? Yeah, waves aren't up. Anyway, so he says, first thing you got to do is love yourself. And I'm 18 years old. Listen to this. I'm going, yeah, okay, fine. In my mind, I'm already on the surf. I'm out of there. I'm not listening. And you got to forgive yourself, and you got to have gratitude. And he goes this whole old stuff, old school Hawaiian stuff. And I'm going, okay. Years later, because I didn't really appreciate that. Years later, I found great power in his words and his teachings. And that's why I'm going back to Hawaii in about 3 weeks, going back to my roots. He's dead, but I'm going to pay homage to him anyway, just by being there and laying a flower someplace for him. But in loving yourself, like when my nose was cut off, this was rebuilt by my shoulder. Okay. Yeah, that's a shoulder you're looking at. All right. So
it looks great, mate.
Yeah, it works great, right? And trust me, I had it done at the Veterans Administration, the VA. They hack things off. They close wounds. It was the plastic surgeons. They go, we're closing the wounds. I mean, they're not trying to fix them fancy. And then regardless of what they do, I just put my hands on my face, on the bandages and everything. And I just go, I love my nose. I love the cancer, because you're supposed to love your enemies, right? I love the cancer. I love me. I love the pain. I love it all. I just give it love. And then 3 weeks or so, looks like this. I've had about 15 or 20 operations in the last 3 years, all in the face. Every one of them as bad as the one I just showed you there, or worse, because my wife wouldn't let me take pictures of some of them. I mean, it was like, I posted a picture of myself about a week after I had the surgery. It was already starting to heal. A week later, on Facebook, and I got put in Facebook jail. They said, they put my picture, they blacked it out, and they had a stripe across it, one corner, the other corner. It says violent and graphic photo. Watch at your own risk or something, right? And I'm going, that's my face. they're saying my face was graphic and violent, right? That's how bad it was. But at no time did I ever say, "Why me, Lord? Take it away. Heal me, God." I figured God knows what happened. I don't have to tell him. I mean, if you got to tell God what you need, then you have no faith. So
Mhm.
I don't do that. I accept my fate. I accept that everything that happens to me happens for a purpose and a reason. And I'll tell you what that purpose and reason is if you want to know.
Yeah, I do have a question though, but
I was going to let you slip your question. I saw that look. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm just intrigued what you're doing in your workshops then. So are you just talking or are you actually doing practical, heart opening, love healing work?
Both things. First off, I come in, it'll be 3 to 4 hours, the workshop. Depending on the group, it's about their energy. I'm bringing them in, and first thing I explain to them, uh, the teacher's not out there, the guru's not out there, the healer's not out there. You are. You are the teacher. You are the healer. You are the guru. And I said, but like all good things, like a car, if you got a nice car, but the battery's dead, that nice car ain't going anywhere. There's no energy, right? Even if it's got steering wheel, tires, engine, it's not going anywhere. So what I do is I infuse my energy through my stories by making them laugh, by making them cry, by making them get inspired. Sometimes just numb-minding, dumb Irish stories. I get them just taking their mind away from analytical thought. I don't want them to analyze. I want to give them a lot of data to think about. I want them to become more childlike and open. And so my whole lecture process is to get them there. And I'll give examples of how I got healed and how this works. Now, that doesn't work. But the idea is at the end of it, the last hour, I actually give hands on. And it's not to heal them, although that they claim that happens and I don't accept it. It's for me to recharge their frequency, their energy, so they can heal them. The potentiality is there in all people, and more so in people that are on this new age awoken route, whatever you want to call it. People see that there is energy, they believe in it, but energy healing is really what it's all about.
Mm.
Nobody is ever healed unless they've bought into being healed. If they go to a doctor says they got 6 months to live and they believe it, accept it, they got 6 months left to live. Simple as that. And if a doctor gives you a sugar pill and says this is going to cure what you got, guess what? That sugar pill will kill you. That'll cure you, right? It's like it didn't have nothing but sugar. It's all here. I'm not one of these guys. There's two kinds of people in the world. There's if I see it, I'll believe it. I'm the guy though that if I believe it, I'll see it. There's a difference in how you look at life, right? So if people come in and they open their hearts and minds, fact that they showed up for this, that's a good step. They're open to something. They're curious. And then it's me for 3 hours working my butt off, literally, to get them to this point. And so I give as many stories or examples as I need to get them there. But the whole time I'm sending my heart frequency, my heart is vibrating with them.
Mm.
The love is going to them. And, a lot of miraculous things happen. And I don't want to embarrass anybody that I've done this for, but a lot of things have happened. I've had a lot of instantaneous healings. And when I say I mean I've witnessed them and they've been told to me because to go back, I have to keep stopping myself. I'm not the healer. They are actually the source is, but they are connected vertically to that source. So my whole problem is people start to believe that I am the healer and they take themselves out of the equation. And that's not what I want because I want to teach them something. I'm not going to be around. They can't find somebody to do this for them all the time. So So then I teach them, once they get this energy and the frequency is starting to evolve. See, it's like, think about this. I'm a tuning fork vibrating at a certain frequency, and I'm getting their tuning fork to vibrate with me,
Mhm.
soul to soul. Okay. I think you can understand that example. And sound vibrations, musical vibration, you go online, you'll see there's so many examples where it's healing people. In fact, they shown 60 Minutes, what I think they show in Australia, the new show 60 Minutes. I know they got it in America. Anyway, on our 60 Minutes, they had a show where this guy used sound waves. He tried out thousands of frequencies, but he found a frequency, this magic frequency that would actually, with a tuning fork or a thing, they could kill cancer cells, not other cells, just the cancer cells. So vibration and energy is healing, but we are the tuning fork. We are the music. We're it. So I tell people, laugh, love, listen to music, eat well, serve others, smile. All good for your frequencies. The diet of people with a good vibration. Have all that.
Yeah.
You'll do it. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And I was going to get back to something else. What was I going to get back to? I don't know.
I honestly can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Who cares?
That's right. Because we use sound at our workshops and retreats as well, and it's
even those bowls. People don't understand the power of those Tibetan bowls. Flutes, very good flutes. And Indian instruments, and even drums is a different kind of vibration, a little bit different. But these other frequency instruments. So anyways,
Bill.
Yeah,
I gotta say, like, I listen to you now, and I'm just like, oh, just gold, mate. Like you're so free. You're so you, like you say, you have complete faith, complete trust. It's like you just follow the scent. You know what I mean? The love scent, and you just keep going. And with that 100% trust and support, knowing that you're supported and you have enough in any given moment, your entire life continues to unfold in mysterious and magical ways that keep reinforcing the power that we have within us, all of us. And I know there'd be so many people listening to this, like, if only I could do that. If only I had the courage to just start to let go and know,
As some people that know me, they go, if you were in a circus, you'd be one of these trapeze artists. Never work with a net, because that's it. 2016, I had another dream. 2016, said, go to Wales, go to England. I go, what? I landed in Europe. I was gone 55 days. Never had nothing scheduled, but stuff happened when I was there, and I was on the radio, and I did some other stuff. And I mean, things happened. I didn't even, but I always follow this vertical alignment with the source. It's like, it's not about me. It's not about what I want. I mean, what crazy person goes around the world just giving free workshops everywhere? I mean, that's nuts. I mean, a normal person wouldn't do it because they wouldn't want to be out $2,000 or $3,000 at every event and do 30, 40 events in a year. They're broke, right? It's like, thought never occurs to me. It always says, it'll happen. It'll happen. Like, I'm going to go to Tokyo next year. It'll happen. I'm going to go to Australia next year. Somehow it'll happen. Singapore. I mean, next year's my Pacific. I put a video up, couple minute video saying, right after I had that dream, I saying, I'm starting the first of a 3-year adventure. I'm going out and I'm teaching people how to heal. And I did blah, blah, blah. It's just and I said, I'm going to, and I named all these places. I had no plan. I had no bookings. I had no tickets. Next thing you know, last January, boom, somebody paid for a trip for me to go to India. I was there a month doing this stuff. And the East Coast, was in different states on the East Coast, New York, and down the seaboard. And and everywhere. And the same thing this year. And now I'm going to Hawaii. That's not in my hands. Some beautiful person is making that possible. Somebody is listening to their higher self. Somebody is vertically aligned. And it's not for me, it's for the message. And so I always have to kind of go, yeah, wake up. It's not you. I mean, you're not the greatest looking guy in the world. You're some dumb, fat Irishman. But they're going there for the message. And the message really is you are the healer. You are the guru. You are the teacher. You are love. You are one with the divine. You're one with all. That's, I don't care what religion you are. I don't try to convert anybody. Hey, you're Muslim. I don't care. You're Buddhist. I don't care. You're Christian. You're Lutheran, Baptist. I don't care what you are. My question is, does it make you happy? Great. Do it. Because religion basically is a social thing. If your family's all religion and you go with them, it's the holidays, don't fight it. Do it. Just keep love in your heart. It doesn't matter what you practice on the outside. It's what's inside. And so my goal over the next couple of years is to just fulfill this dream I had, which is to go till I'm 80, going on the road, doing this stuff. And then after 80, then it's going to be more this kind of stuff, Zoom and writing more books and maybe an occasional public appearance. I don't need the public appearances. But when I'm doing these things in person, you could, I can feel it. People swear they feel it. The energies that are in the room. This weekend down Los Angeles area, I did this gentleman, and he's a couple years older than me, real nice guy. And he started crying when I was doing this energy thing with him. I'm looking and just rolled down his cheeks and stuff. So he called me when I was driving back up Northern California in the middle of the night. He goes, Reverend Bill, he says, I just want to tell you why I was crying. And he basically said that he was seeing lightning coming between my forehead and his. There was lightning strikes like static electricity. And his spine was going crazy, and he felt loved. He felt great love. But I've had people cancel their surgeries. Doctor says they don't need the surgery anymore. People's backs are better. Miracles. But I'm not the miracle performer. I'm a facilitator, a waiter, a bus driver, whatever it is. I'm not the source. My job is to awaken you, meaning whoever's watching this, right? To awaken you who's watching this, to awaken you to the fact that you're in charge. You create and manifest your own destiny. You manifest your own health. You manifest your own healing. And when you accept the fact that everything in your life, you manifested, don't label it good, bad, different. You just manifested. It's not good or bad. It's just what you manifested. Your job is to look for the gift. Now, that's where I was going earlier. So why did I go through all these surgeries? Why did all that stuff happen? Because I had to learn how to deal with pain. I had to learn how to heal. And I didn't use any magic. I used techniques and things that I have videos on, people say, but I use techniques and things that will help the average person. I mean, they could do it themselves. I had 3 broken teeth a couple of years ago. They were supposed to pull them out, root canal, something. I mean, just major stuff, right? After doing this 3, 4, 5 days, I loving my teeth. I went in there and had 2 dentists waiting to do me. They didn't pull my teeth. They didn't do a root canal. They didn't do a crown molar.
Wow.
They were able to fix my 3 shattered teeth that had shards into the gum, into the nerve ending. About 40 minutes, they were done. 40, 50 minutes, they were done. It's like, and then,
but yeah, I was going to say, but I guess the challenge is for people, or the key is not to fall back into the old self, is to really embrace that, right?
It's hard for people. They live in what they think the real world. If you're living in this real world, because I don't think I live in this real world. I'm kind of really in my own little world, because nobody looks at life like I do. Well, maybe you, but nobody really looks at life like I do, because to me, it's like it's not real. It's it's not the reality. But when you believe this is the reality, and therefore you believe in birth, you believe in death, you believe in pain and suffering, you believe in heaven, you believe in hell, you believe in reincarnation, because that's all part of the belief package. Because you have an I-ness, you identify with your personal history, you're separate from the source. When you realize there's no separation, then all these things are not real. God's
Totally.
divine dream. Who knows? And I don't know why we're created. I don't know why. And trying to figure out the whys and all these things. You can't do it from a brain. You can't do it from the human mind. Only in a mindless state can you understand these things. So, yeah. So my goal in the next couple of years is to continue what I'm doing. And if you're watching this thing a couple of years from now, look for me. I'll be in Australia. And I don't know about New Zealand, but Australia, Singapore, Tokyo, and South Korea. It's on my agenda, and I'm pretty sure that I will make those. And
Phenomenal.
I'll buy an airline ticket. I'm gonna show up. Anybody meets me and greets me, I leave it up to God. Because here's my thing: every time I do an event, because you do events, you have no way of really knowing who's coming. I mean, it's like
Zero.
I mean, it's like one person could show up. I mean, I've done events around the world. I've had 5,000, 6,000 people, at an event, and I've had a dozen. It's like, uh, I just the message is still the same. It's still a good message, but I figure out those that are supposed to be there. They'll find me. So I don't even advertise. But I mean, I just put something on my Facebook page. People show up. I'm going. I mean, who knows? Anyway, I love you, man. I appreciate giving another opportunity to speak on here. And if you got any questions, I'm ready for you.
Yeah, no, I was going to say this won't be the last time. We'll make sure it becomes more regular, Bill. I love listening to you, my man. No, it's interesting you sharing that about, people buy into a certain belief system and, and how you're actually living your life. And that was part of the reason why I started this podcast, because I just want to normalize these conversations and actually start to highlight what is possible, what we are capable of, and what the treasure within us is there all along. It's just nobody taught me where to look. And that's the thing that really, really frustrated me once I knew. Is like, you're kidding, right? Like, why couldn't I be shown this as a 5-year-old? I would have just grabbed it and ran with it, so if not now, when? That's what I would say to people.
There you go. And at my age, that's really the question. I've been retired 23 years. That's a long time to be retired, right? I should be.
Yeah.
And I'm going, if I'm not doing what my heart wants me to do now, if I'm not carrying out my dharma, my purpose, when? There's no much time left in the hourglass. It's now down to, no, this is when. It's now. Now when you're young and you got family, you got kids, you got to you have to have an income, take care of your family. There's commitments. When you retire, that's really the time you got no more excuses. You've got your family taken care of. Now it's time for the higher order of things. But meanwhile, while you're young, you should be meditating and building your frequency and loving and serving. And there's something to do at every level of your growth. And now you're doing this. Think about this. You just become one of my hands. You're moving my message for me. Who knows who's going to see? You don't know who's going to. I don't know who's going to see this. Because I usually do something like this, and I'll get 4 or 5, 10 people will email me and say, "Hey, boom, boom," and then I found out, and that's how I was thinking about 80 years old. I won't do so much of in person because I had such this power at the places. But I'm finding out that people watch my videos, my healing videos, where I kind of do videos from my lectures and stuff for the healing. People say they were healed watching it. So it's like, So it's really about the faith and the openness of the person's heart that's watching it. Because there's some people who watch this video and they're going to say, I felt nothing. And some people say, man, I felt something. Man, there was an affinity there. It's your vibration. So that's, and like a tuning fork, some people will vibrate with what I'm saying and they'll want to make that more often. They want to, they want to increase that frequency. It's all about frequencies. And meditation, it's the greatest way to increase. That's great to increase. But if you're meditating, but you're living an immoral life and you're cheating and you're alcoholic and you're doing the drugs, you can meditate all you want. You're not going to change the frequency much. So it has to be body, mind, and spirit. 3 tuning forks. They all got to be vibrating together. You have purpose. You have purpose. So when you're doing this broadcast, your intentions are to educate and inspire and be a bridge for other people to get the information. Now, if that's your intentions, the universe knows that. Your listenership will increase. The right people will find it. I mean, there's thousands of podcasts out there. How do people find yours? How do people find me? I mean, I got over almost a million and a half of my own, and on people's other broadcasts like yours and others. If you add them all up, it's about another almost 2 million. So it's like, who are these people? When the crops are right, as the farmers used to say, and when the crops are right, the bees will find them, right? The bees will find them, and the pollinator. So when you got the right message and the person's ready, they will find you no matter where you're at. You can't hide your light. What's a Bible thing about hiding your light under a cover or blanket or something? So it's hard to hide light. It's harder yet to hide love.
Yeah, beautiful. Where can we send everyone? Like, people will be listening to this. I mean, it'll be easy to find if they type in Reverend Bill McDonald into YouTube, Google,
Facebook.
yeah,
Reverend Bill
Facebook.
McDonald, Facebook. But by email, and I do eventually answer everybody's, even though I get about 1,000 a week, I do.
Jesus.
I got to get up at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to get everything done. Especially these Australians that are already up in Singapore. The first hour every day is that part of the country. But Huey, HUEY 576 at gmail.com. In other words, I was in the Army, right? Huey helicopter number 576. So it's Huey 576 at gmail.com. If they send me a message, I will respond.
Amazing, Bill. Anything you want to leave the listeners to ponder on as we wrap this up with everything we covered today, mate?
I believe out of all the things in the world, money, power, fame, all this stuff, nothing compares to having love in your heart. As I found from dealing with these guys in Silicon Valley, billions of dollars, yet they were still looking for something. And they come to me, this poor kid, right? Yeah, 70 years old, poor kid. They come to me seeking what they don't have. Love in here, peace in here. So even though they've made a killing and they've kind of gone off and inventing things and they're famous and all that, if you don't have love filling there, then everything is worthless. There's no joy. So fill your heart with love and you don't have to worry about anything else. Because I just read something on Yahoo, said, according to the United Nations, which was really odd, the number one disease in the world, according to the United Nations. Ready for this? I thought it was odd. Loneliness. Causing suicides and mental stuff, but also physical, people, heart and allergies and all kinds of things from being lonely and depressed. It's because lonely goes to depression. Not being alone. Alone's different because you could be a monk. You could be lonely in a crowd at a party.
Wow.
So I'm out there looking at people and saying, The cure to loneliness is love. The cure to darkness is light. So spread the light, spread the love.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you so much, Phil. You know, it's funny, you just sharing that last bit about everything in you. My baby is just turned 6 weeks old, my son, Ellis.
Wow.
And it was just the other day, my wife was sort of staring at him. He was sitting in this little bouncer thing that was holding him. And he just gave the smile for the first time. Oh my God. Like that moment, it was like as a parent with you, you know, with your sibling, and to be present to witness that, it just made me cry. Like, you know, like it's those moments that just nothing can compare to it. And I was like, how lucky are we that we can have these gifts
And
and get
and here's
witness to it.
that's the other thing I'm trying to tell young people. I said, the Lord, God don't need any more beggars and people living in a cave someplace away from everybody. God is looking for family people, so these great spiritual souls can be born into a spiritual family. That can't happen if everybody's a monk. I'm sorry. It's like, come on, I'm a family man and be godly. These souls are waiting and come in. There's not many vessels for them. You brought one in. Thank you.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Well, Bill, you're a bloody inspiration, mate. If anyone that just listened to our conversation and is not inspired by what you're doing right now needs to check their pulse. They really do, mate. And I have no doubt many people will benefit from all the beautiful words you just shared. So, Bill, so good to reconnect. Thank you so much, man. Love you loads. You're amazing. Thank you so much.